is the second season for you with the Vision wheels, so now you know them very well. Where do you find the best advantage with a 55mm profile?
Yeah, with the 55mm profile, I find that it's a very responsive wheel. You get it's really good for punching out of corners. If you're in a really rolly circuit that you have to punch a lot, it's really good, and also you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the stiffness of the 40mm, and also it's very light, and then you also get a bit of the aeroness from the 81mm wheel. So you kind of get a mixed wheel. So it's a really good all-round wheel. It's great for some of the classics also.
So, which wheel model do you feel to suggest to an amateur rider that wants to ride, for example, a Grand Fondo or a Kermesse?
Yeah, I'd say the 40mm wheels, the Metron 40mm are really good. They're very light, and when you're climbing up the mountains for a long period of time, I think this is a really good wheel. Also, when you get out of the saddle, it's very responsive when you're climbing. So I think this is really the best wheel. When you're in a Kermesse, the 55mm wheel, in my opinion, is a really good wheel for this. You're punching out of corners a lot, doing really hard accelerations, and it's very responsive, but it's also a really, really fast wheel. So you have a great selection with Vision, and I think you can find a wheel for every event.
Which is your preferred setup on the bike?
For me, if it's a really fast sprint where coming in with speed, I always like to use the 81mm wheels. I feel really good in them. I always feel really fast, and I love the noise. Always drives me on. I always use the 81mm wheels. If it's a sprint that's comes into an uphill, I'd use the 55mm wheel. But I always decide on the day. But usually 81mm wheels I love.
Which is the best wheel combo for a pro rider, for example in a mountain stage or in a time trial?
Yeah, so I think on mountain stages you want it to be light, you want it to be stiff, so you usually go for something more like the 40mm wheel. With time trials you always want a bit of speed. You can look and see whether it's going to be really windy to decide the front wheel, whether it's going to be a hilly time trial. You'd always go with a disc, but you also want to see what you really want for the front wheel. If you want a tri-spoke, or the 90mm is also good. And then if it's a fast day, really flat, always rolling at a really good average speed, you'd want the 81mm wheels that I love. There's loads of different setups. I think if it's a real punchy circuit, you can go with the 55s. If it's also the 40mm wheels are really good in the cobbles and classics as well. I find them good, and also they're a wide wheel, and you can get a good sized tire on it for the cobblestones. It's with Vision you have everything to cover every scenario.
Thank you very much for your time, Sam.